Well, I'm just gonna go live. Go ahead, keep singing, bro. Go ahead. Can you hear me now?
Nah. You put me on the spot. So you should have did it.
Ah, see, now your
Time.
audio's messed up. As soon as you start singing, everything's fine. You start talking, your audio gets messed up. What is going on? We're having sound issues here.
Wow. It's the NSA. I'm telling you, it's the NSA.
They just want you to sing out. I guess instead of talking about what's going on, Dex, you're gonna have to sing out what's going on.
So I have to sing about everything that we talk about today.
Yeah, that's it. So let's start off with the Godfather himself, who croaked over and died, David Rockefeller. Good riddance. So what you sing about that one? Why don't you sing a little funeral song for us?
All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. If you will now bow your heads
I said a funeral song, not a prayer, bro.
as we remember the death of the shape-shifting reptilian and a memorable song. It goes a little something like this. Ding dong, the witch is dead, the witch is dead, the witch is dead. Ding dong, the wicked witch is dead. I forgot the rest of the words.
I just think it repeats just itself, just like that, man. That's about it. Folks, if you're tuning in now, you're not listening to two madmen rambling on. You're listening to the one and only Dex, the Algocapitalist, and he's joined by I, the Majestic Ape, a.k.a. Senor Silverback, where we break down the markets, the trades, the things that you need to be paying attention to. We also cover a whole litany of other things that just makes this programming fun and informational all at the same time. So grab a chair, grab a dark roast, and let's get it to rock and roll. Dex, what's going on, bro?
Everything and nothing at all. Isn't that just grand?
It is what it is, bro. Everything and nothing at all is. It seems to be the motif. I mean, gold is up 10.
Yeah, I like that, but there's something more important than all of what we just said.
What's
that is ding dong, the witch is dead, the witch is dead, the witch is dead. Ding dong, the wicked witch is dead.
He's like more like a warlock, bro, instead of a witch.
All right, let me think of a lyric for that one. Let me see.
Please save us.
Ding dong, the warlock's dead, the warlock's dead, the warlock's dead. Ding
He's like the dark
dong,
Sith
the
Lord.
warlock is dead.
He's like the dark Sith Lord, bro. He's like a Star Wars villain. That's who Rockefeller is. A Star Wars villain.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say that. The Sith Lord was a little bit different. If I had to sum up him, it's not words, it's vibrations. Are you ready?
Yeah.
It goes something like this.
Friday the 13th.
Just think of all the people that they have murdered with their bombs and their chemical weapons and their flu shots and their immunizations and vaccinations and all of their GMO, all the billions of people they have killed, pushing forth the abortion debate, pushing forth the homosexual agenda. All of these things is an effort to depopulate the planet. They are sick, twisted, dark individuals.
Yeah.
And they're liars. And if anyone watched the Senate hearings, you would understand that. How is it possible that, how do I put this? Okay, so the FBI is investigating the NSA, investigating the planet, and while they're being grilled, the truth comes out that everything that they ever said is a lie. So the media would have you to believe that the narrative of Russia hacking the election happened. But when you talk to the director of the NSA under cross-examination, he says, so do we have any evidence whatsoever that this took place? And he said, no.
Right.
No. Then they asked, when they grilled the FBI, they was like, okay, did Trump have any, ties with Russia and possibly, in cahoots with them to fix the election? And the answer was no. There's no evidence to suggest that either. So all this foolishness, bread and circus, which is better than Ringling Brothers, I must say, is all for the people's benefit. And then today, what did they do? The day after these Senate hearings, what happens? The Dow is down 200 points.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to scare you. It's almost like punishing you for even participating in yesterday's briefings, if you want to call it that. That's really all it was. And they really didn't answer anything but the most important thing, which is there's no proof that Russia hacked the election.
Oh, of course not.
He said it out of his own mouth. There's no proof. There's no evidence that this happened. So then why are you pushing the narrative that it happened? It's because you're trying to form a coup to take over the White House. And the answer is yes. Then when they start touching on quote unquote sensitive matters, they use the magic phrase national security, or that's classified. So it's ridiculous. That's all they have to do is hide under the mantra national security. Sir, what did you have for breakfast today? I just want to get it on the record. I can't tell you that because it's a matter of national security. Now, we may find that funny and amusing, but it's not amusing because if they're really shape-shifting reptilians, they don't want to say, well, I ate a little kid today for breakfast. You know what I'm saying? Well, which kid did you eat? Well, if you have a milk carton, just flip it over on the back and spin it around, and whatever kid you land on, that's the one I ate.
Yeah.
So it's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous what we're witnessing right now. Someone had posted an article that was on Zero Hedge about the recent run-up in the market since the election. And it was interesting how they were saying that the money that was printed from the Fed was supposed to be to benefit Hillary had she won. But it didn't make any sense because regardless of who wins or won or whatever, or what their earmark was, it was still used to push up the economy. So it got me to thinking, well, even if what they say in this article is true, the truth of the matter is, like I had said before, it doesn't matter who gets in the office because at the end of the day, the program is still the program. And the agenda is still the agenda. And that's to prop up their markets for as long as it takes. Because at the end of the day, America has become a failed state. We, for the most part, as far as the global marketplace is concerned, we no longer produce anything. We have nothing going on. The power is our control over other people's natural resources and then forcing them to transact those resources with US dollars. So we're hanging on to our sovereignty by a thread. Because if all the countries decided to band together and say, forget the US, we're not operating in the US dollar anymore. As a matter of fact, we're going to take back the oil, we'd be screwed. So that's really what we're dealing with right now. And it's sad because most people don't realize that we are operating as a failed state. All of our productions and stuff went overseas, so there's nothing being produced here. We're adding no value.
Quite good.
We're adding no value. Nothing of value is coming from the U.S. to benefit the rest of the world. We can't even compete on manufacturing because China or India can do it cheaper. And it's just really a sad state of affairs where we find ourselves. And then as far as the employment picture, it's never been bleaker.
It's only 4% unemployment rate. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I know. I know. It's ridiculous. But the truth of the matter is, robots have taken over a lot of the jobs, and they're planning for them to take over even more.
Well,
and
robots are persons, Dex. Don't you know that they're persons? They have feelings.
Well, that's what they want us to believe. Racist. That's why they have all these programs that come out now to get us used to the idea that it's cool and trendy to have machines take your place. And if you allow this development to continue, then you too will be rewarded, because then you can have your very own legal electronic sex slave in your house. That's what they're gearing us up for. That's what they're selling you. That's the bill of goods right now.
Yes.
All right. You can have your own sex robot. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to design them to be whatever you want them to look like, and we'll program them. They'll never be able to say no. They will clean your house, cook for you, do everything you want them to do, and you will have your own slave. And that's what they're telling you. But that's not the reality of what's going to happen. What's going to end up happening is just like the last episode of the computer TV show, Humans.
Yeah.
If you saw the last episode, you would see that when the one robot the blonde was walking down the street, and there was another robot that was sweeping or cleaning, picking up trash off the street, and
Sure.
she was like, "Why are you looking at me?" And she said, "Oh, I'm reporting your whereabouts to the police."
Hmm.
That is the end game of the robots. See, the Trojan horse is selling you the idea that the robot will be having streets no more. No, that is not the robot's primary function. That is its secondary function. The primary function is to observe and report back to the authorities everything that's happening on the street. And it's equipped with facial recognition software so they can quickly, within a matter of hundreds of a second, analyze every face that walks past it. And it doesn't have to be limited there. It can read license plates too. So you got warrants, it will notify the authorities immediately. The car just drove by, headed northbound on such and such a street, head west. And then coming for you around the corner. So everything will be controlled, and the authorities will know the whereabouts and the movements of every human being on the planet. Now, here's another thing that I thought was interesting too, just drawing the parallels from the show. Notice how I call them robots because that's what they are. See, they want to romanticize the terminology, and they want to play games of semantics with you. So instead of saying robot, which makes it sound like an iPhone, they want to say synthetic, because then that makes it sound human. Because you've heard the word synthetic mentioned so many times that when you hear it now, the first thought that pops into your head when you hear synthetic is skin. They made the word synthetic synonymous with the word skin. So synthetic meaning skin or human like. All right, or human 2.0. So they've been very successful with the marketing of this agenda. They've even went further and said, it's trendy and cool because, you don't have to be limited anymore.
It is trendy.
You can be a part of this Borg.
Plug me
All
in.
right. So they're talking about inserting microchips in your brain as a good thing, because now, the human brain is so limited in its scope and capacity to recall memories and remember important things. It's also limited by scope and capacity to acquire and to learn new things. Therefore, you no longer have to apply yourself into a certain discipline. All you need is the right processor or chip. And if you can download everything onto the chip and then upload it to your brain, then you will automatically be able to recall these things that you can't do now. So every language can be programmed on there, so you can know all languages. We'll put some other stuff on there too for you, so you can recall, passwords. You can even go online with it, so you no longer need a device to go online, like a smartphone or a cell phone. It's all in your brain. Everything's in your mind. You can go online that way. That's what they want. Now, let me just take a quick break here. I want to say hello to everyone in the live chat. I see you all. I see you, Brandy. Hello, everybody else. The last comment that was put in there is the CIA has everything under control, good people. You know, the sad thing about that is the media has been doing everything in its power also to make the CIA trendy and to take it out of the shadows and push it to the forefront so that you won't be so afraid of it. So how did they do that? Well, they have a new thing now. They have a show that's been on, and it's been quite successful. All right, called Quantico.
That was the FBI, man.
So they want you to think that it's cool and it's trendy to that FBI, CIA, they're all cool. Each one has had their own programs and it's been inserted in each other's program. Come on now. Jack Bauer in 24. You know that was all CIA, and then they added additional acronyms to it also. Oh, this is part of Homeland Security. Oh no, we're part of this. Oh, we're part of that agency. We're part of this and that agency. And there's a million agencies within that agency. So they're starting to make it cool, and they're making the military cool. Now they've been doing that for a long time. One of the things that they did very successfully, the media bought out and pushed forward into the forefront the Rangers and Special Forces. They made movies like G.I. Jane back in the day. There was a TV show, one of my favorite, that they took off the air called The Unit.
I love The Unit. I still have the collection of their. That was great.
Right, and then just recently they made the Sniper movie, and there's a Sniper video game. So they've made it cool and trendy. They've made a sniper cool and trendy. What is a sniper? It's an assassin. Who is he assassinating? Political targets. They're toppling kingdoms and countries and governments that are not ours. And that's cool. There's even a video game for it. Video game is pretty slick too, I must add. But they're making the government trendy in the eyes of the people.
Yeah.
So that the first thing you think of now, instead of government, you don't just think of this some nebulous term anymore. You're going to think how cool the FBI is, how cool the CIA is, how cool the NSA is. And they make movies constantly about these things and how they're coming out with new people, highly trained, and technology to take on the bad guys. And it's always a terrorist. The bad guy is always a terrorist, and usually they come from Russia, or they're coming from any one of the Middle East countries. You just name one, or they'll make up a name, but you get the idea of where their terrorist group is coming from, because next thing you know, you're going to see a desert, you're going to see a camel, and you're going to see a dude wearing some
Alaskan Eskimos. That's who it is.
Yeah, you know who it is. So the suggestion, the mass hypnotic suggestions that they've been planting into the minds of the people is that the Middle Eastern people are terrorists. Matter of fact, the entire Middle East. When you hear Middle East now, you don't think anything except for terrorist.
Yep.
Someone just put in a room Iron Man. Exactly. So they want you to. So now you know the bad guys are terrorists and they speak Arabic. You also know that the bad guys too are the Reds. All right, they're coming from Russia. All right, and whenever they show Russia, they always show them. They show you a 1980s Russia. Yeah. They don't show you a today's Russia.
Correct. Much more modern with skyscrapers, the whole 9 yards.
Right. They're showing you the sickle, the Arnold Schwarzenegger, Bad Deal, Red Dawn, Red Heat, Commando. They're showing you that situation.
All
All
right,
right,
let's
because that's what
break
they
you.
want you to think. Exactly. Especially
The Ivan Drago one, bro.
there you go. That's what they want you to think. That's what they want you to see. So you know who the bad guy is. And here's the thing, though. And this is the part that I think is hilarious. And this is what we saw yesterday in the Senate hearings. See, they now cannot keep track of all the lies they're telling the American people. So when the American people start acting on the lies or the indoctrinations that they have received through public education and also through the American universities, then everyone's now shocked and surprised. For example, we've been told that Russia is bad. We've been told that the Middle Eastern nations are also bad, right?
Yes.
We've been told in the 9/11 Commission report, all the redacted pages that they put out decades after the fact, that said, oh, Saudi Arabia was involved. Okay, fine. All right, so there it is. That's the narrative. Saudi Arabia is bad, the Middle East is bad, and Russia is bad. All right, so we all agree that that's what the government has told us. So we need to trust the government and believe them when they say these nation states are bad. So then why is everyone angry with the new president who says, you know what, Russia is bad, the Middle East is bad. So guess what? I'm banning any one of them from coming into the country. Why are you mad at him? You told this man and everyone else that the Middle East are out to kill us. And in order to stop the terrorists, Trump says, let's close the borders. Let's not allow any more people to come here from those countries. Now, all of a sudden, everybody's up in arms. Hey, you can't do that. Why not? What do you mean? You just told me that the villain is coming from Saudi Arabia, so I don't want any more Saudi Arabians coming into the country. It's that simple. If you live in Afghanistan or you from, Saudi Arabia, Iran, Iraq, any of them places, any place where there's sand, you can't come to the United States. So why are you mad at them? The government reports said that the terrorists are coming from those areas. It only makes logical sense to shut down the borders and ban them from coming here. Anyone from that descent coming. No more terrorists, nothing else to blow up. No more 9/11s, right?
Yeah.
Why is everyone upset with him? He's only doing his job. He's only doing what he's supposed to be based on what you have told him. So then are you saying, since you have a problem with it, are you saying that everything you told him is a lie? And you didn't expect him to carry things out this far? Because that's what we're left with. So it's either it is or it isn't. If all the terrorists are coming from there, then you have to vet them, right? You have to make sure that whoever's coming here can't come. So hilarious. Anyway, when you looked at the Senate hearings and you saw what was happening, the whole time yesterday, the markets kept rallying, right? Because everything on our end is fine. And the Senate hearings was just the icing on the cake from last week when the Federal Reserve decided, you know what, boom, we're going to go ahead and raise these interest rates and we're going to keep on doing it. The truth of the matter is the markets are going up only because that's what they know people are watching, because that's what they trained them to watch.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So the markets going up make people feel good. When the markets go down, it makes people afraid. It's like taking the mask off. You know what I'm saying? And that's what they've been doing. Now, today's down movement in the market doesn't necessarily really mean a whole lot just yet. Markets points that we can pull back and play around with, and it still not affect anything. So I think for the next couple of days, we might pull back a little bit. You know, who knows? And really, who cares? At the
Right.
end of the day, they cannot allow the markets to fall. The only thing that they're allowing to fall right now, which is very interesting, is the US dollar, which is broke parity. So, as you can see, Trump's agenda is working. Trump wants a weaker dollar so that we can build up our exports again. I don't know how that's going to help because we don't really do anything here. The only thing we seem to export very well is
What?
we do that really well. Guns, firearms.
Yeah.
We're really good at that. So perhaps he's making it cheaper so that those that do all the gun running can do so now cheaper because there's a weaker dollar. Of course, I'm being funny. We know the people that really do all the gun running work for the U.S. government and the military. You know, we knew that under the Obama administration. So where does this leave us? Well, here's the funny thing. Since we've had these situations going on, gold has managed to start to break out. Now, why people want to know why is gold breaking out? Is it because of the weak dollar? Nope. See, here's the problem. Gold is special because it's a commodity, but it's also a currency.
Right.
And lately, the thing that has come to the surface is that big bad word called inflation. The Fed peeped and tilted their cards just a little bit so we could see them. They were holding a couple of aces, and one of those aces was there's been a little bit of inflation coming and hitting the consumer in the US, and they had to acknowledge it. Then today, in the business news, we see that inflation is starting to hit the consumer right in the eyes.
Say that again.
Therefore,
Yeah, cut.
inflation in Europe.
Yeah.
Inflation is now starting to hit the people in Europe. That was in the news today too, in the business news. So that's why gold is starting to creep up now, because that word inflation is happening. So I think that once you see, like we talked about the last week, once the Fed has run out of bullets and can no longer manipulate the gold market like they've been doing.
Oh, did you hear about the news on Friday that we reported on?
Remind me.
Dude, the report on Friday, and it was actually broken by Jim Willie over at Golden Jackass, and Jim's connected to a lot of what's going on in the broader economical markets, especially overseas,
Mm-hmm.
and also from my source in Hong Kong as a gentleman in the company that I work with, the Shanghai Gold Exchange.
Mm-hmm.
They've invited some of the big Western bankers,
Mm-hmm.
and they invited them, and they made them pay for their invitation. and they gave them the tour of the actual gold exchange with all the stockpiles of physical gold that they have, which you and I both know is anywhere between 20 to 30,000 metric tons.
Yes, far more than what we got.
Exactly. And China is saying, enough's enough. We don't like what your Fed did on Wednesday with Janet Yellen. And they showed them, they pulled back the curtains and they said, you know what, we're ready, we're getting ready to bring this whole thing out. We're getting ready to roll the whole entire program out. So it was huge news, man. Huge news.
Well, that just confirms what I just that's what's happening. I'm telling you, once the Fed realizes that they don't have the control over everything like they used to, that's when the veil is lifted and they see the emperor has no clothes.
Bingo. And that's what we're seeing in all throughout the West, man. All these Western countries, there is nothing there, man.
No, it's not. There's nothing there. And I'm telling you, once the people really catch wind of what's been going on and they wake up out of this anesthetic slumber, I believe that instead of the civil unrest that the government is hoping that they can get out of the people, it's going to be the other way around. People and start taking responsibility for their lives and their health and their finances, and they're going to get sick and tired of being sick and tired. And that's when you're going to see the gold prices start to go up $100 a day, or more, because they're going to realize, oh my goodness, we've been tricked. And I think that the veil is starting to be slowly lifted right now. You can only lie to the people for so long. Eventually, things will start hitting home.
Yeah.
So that's what's happening right now. It's a race to the top as far as technology is concerned.
Mm-hmm.
But there's always unintended consequences. Excuse me. And I think that's going to be the American people. When they see the layoffs come in droves because people are being replaced by machines, I think it's going to happen a lot quicker than they think. And there's going to be no Android sex slave that everyone's going to be able to go to Walmart and buy. That's the lie to get you to accept what's happening to you.
Yep.
Because most people are not going to be able to afford it, even if they did come out with it for the general public. Because if that was the case, then everyone would be driving a Tesla.
I hate that car.
Hey, it serves a purpose.
Yeah.
Remember, they're only going to make stuff for themselves. The wealthier people can afford a Tesla, not the average citizen. The average citizen is still taking the bus, train, and taxi. So that's where we are. That's the reality we're living in right now. And right now, you still have a window of opportunity to take matters into your own hands.
Right.
You don't have to be a victim of what's coming. All you have to do is start educating yourself to where we are, what's going on, and then just take action. It's not about fear porn and all that stuff. I still scratch my head, man. I still see every day there's more and more fear porn coming out. More and more fear porn. And when we try to tell people and
the
warn
latest
people,
one now, they're saying that you got people out there saying that April the 15th,
what happened to March the 15th? Let's deal with that. Everyone said the world was coming to an end March the 15th.
Yeah. March
the 15th has come and gone. And even before that, they said 2012, the world was going to end. We're still here.
On 2012. Did you not notice, man?
I know, right? We're in a parallel universe right now.
Yeah.
And the sad part is when you and I try to tell people things and they want to accuse us of being fear porn. Like, for instance, the prior week, when I was warning people of what was possible because of what we had seen before, it was not unprecedented. I warned people, do what you do, but just be aware that shenanigans could take place on that Fed day, only because we had the debt ceiling issue, which still to this date has not been dealt with.
Correct.
How do you continue to go on like we're going on and no one's even asking questions about the debt ceiling? They just glossed over it.
It's complete blackout, man. No one's talking about it, really.
So that's letting me know that there's something far more nefarious afoot. Sure. And this is not fear porn. This is saying that they are preparing, they're doing something terrible behind the scenes, because you and I both know that when you print the money, and that means you control the money, and you can do it ad infinitum. Nothing has to change. You can just say we're going to raise the debt ceiling every week, and nothing would happen, because you can destroy and create money out of thin air.
Right.
It's just sand. It literally, we're building a house on literal sand. Computer microchips are sand. It's built from sand. So literally, we're putting all of our faith and hope on a microchip. Everything's a microchip. So when the power goes out, that microchip is useless. This is the only problem I have with the cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and stuff. If there's no electricity, you have no money. At least with the fiat money as it is, if I have a couple of dollar bills in my pocket, I can still go get a sandwich. But if your computers are down, all right, you have no money. There's nothing you can do. Your Bitcoin wallet is useless. See what I'm saying? Even if they brought down the internet right now, as long as the banking schematics are still up, people can still go to their bank and do what they need to do. But you can't do anything with your Bitcoin wallet. See what I'm saying? I don't like it when everything is connected to the internet or connected to a central electronic mainframe. There has to be a way for the people to take back ownership of their money. All right?
Well,
And what I mean by
Bitcoin is a way for people to take back their money.
Yeah, but it's built on sand. We need something to see. Gold is not built on sand. See what I'm saying? Gold is not built on sand. Gold is a physical, tangible commodity asset.
Sure.
I'm not dissing Bitcoin. Please don't misunderstand.
It's
what I'm saying is I just don't like how the whole cryptocurrency, how the whole society is being pushed in this one direction of everything is cyber. Everything is cyber everything.
Right. No, I agree with you in that regard, but I think one of the biggest problems that people miss again when it comes to Bitcoin, yeah, there's a billion cryptocurrencies out there, but you know, who gives a rat's rear end? You know, our focus is the biggest focus is the one that's built out the most, that has the most amount of people involved in it, the most amount of businesses involved in it, and it's a completely decentralized system with a blockchain technology, and that being Bitcoin. And I think again, you know, we have to be very clear. The power of Bitcoin is not because it's a store of wealth or it is actual currency. No, the power of Bitcoin is a technology that allows you to transact. So if you're using Bitcoin, you want to transact in a way where you can move your money in and out. You know, there are some people that, you know, hold on to Bitcoins, and there are some who use it as a vehicle. For instance, I think it's the best way for me to send dollars over to Europe and have it convert to euros, paying the lowest fees on the planet. You know, that's one of the ways you can do it. You know, but again, it's I think everybody has to be diversified and creative. There's not that one. There's no one size fits all. There's not like one trick pony. I think everybody needs, like, you know, my man Wolf Gray over at Rogue Money. He always writes about diversified hard asset portfolio. You got to have silver. You got to have gold. You got to have currencies. You got to have cryptocurrency. You got to have everything in your repertoire. That's the only way. You got to be diversified in that regard. Anybody who's 100% in something, you're in for trouble.
I have to agree with everything you just said. You do need to be diversified. You should own some of everything you just said.
Yeah,
but
my
gripe is not what you said. You said it correctly. My gripe is that, haven't you noticed the push for everything to be online and connected?
Yeah, there's a danger
to that, so they can control that. And if they ever turn it off or bring it down or make it so that you can't get online, you're screwed.
Yeah,
that's the part I'm getting at, and that's where they're going.
The internet is so damn big and so damn, it's right now being decentralized in such a way. There's no way that somebody could shut the internet off. It's just not going to happen. But the problem with Bitcoin, the biggest weakness with Bitcoin is this. Okay, it's being marketed, and people are riding the whole cryptocurrency euphoria. So in one sense, they're riding the whole cryptocurrency euphoria. Everything's digital, everything's online. The convenience of not carrying cash, this, that, and the other. And Bitcoin is all those things. But what's happening, the biggest problem with Bitcoin, I've said this so many times to a lot of the Bitcoin guys, listen, we need to get Bitcoin away from the nerds. Okay? We need to make it applicable and easier than sending an email, easier than anything for the person to utilize. Okay? It has to be super easy. And it's not the utility aspect of it is not as widespread, and it's not in the hands of so many people as I would like to see. So the bankers and the banking powerhouses, they understand what's going on with cryptocurrency. They understand there's a major trend here. So the banks are doing is they're coming out with their own cryptocurrencies. They're trying to roll it out. They're trying to come out with their own blockchain. And they'll use such marketing adages as, hey, look, it's just like Bitcoin. Oh, hey, look, it's online. It works everywhere. And that's the whole thing. My biggest fear is that people will more readily utilize a payment platform that's put out by JP Morgan or Citigroup or Goldman Sachs, what have you, rather than using Bitcoin because of the fact that hey, it's not the easiest thing to transact with. You have to actually do homework to figure out, hey, how can I go on Amazon and buy stuff using Bitcoin? How can I, and get 20 to 30% off? How do I utilize Purse.io? How am I able to pay? Like I can go to Starbucks right now and pay for Bitcoin with this app called Luxstack, which is a Bitcoin wallet, and allows me to go ahead and get Starbucks at a 10% discount. So these are things that like the average person would have no idea of. It requires a lot of work and time to get yourself really invested in Bitcoin and understand how it works, without which I don't think the average person can make that jump and transition. So for most people, I'd say have a little bit, transact in it, in and out. Don't hold it long. Don't have a portfolio where you're 90% Bitcoin. You got to be diversified and you got to be pragmatic. You cannot be married to a paradigm. And I think you and I are both on the same page when that comes to that regard.
Yeah, my only thing though is, and you're right, you can't take down the internet per se, but you can cut off people's access to the
You
internet.
could. You could. And
And
then
that's
the only people that are able to get around that would be like the hackers and the people with the dark web. But the average person, once they're shut out, they're shut out.
Yeah, because check it out. All right. See, I'm seeing some things and it's really acting crazy. It's not looking tight. I can speak a little bit on this because I know something about cable theory, because at one point in my life I actually did work for Comcast as a technician. I am noticing that your internet service provider can cut off your access to the internet at the drop of a dime. Not only that, but if for whatever reason someone decided they were going to hack one of the main satellites that affected the head end node at the main station at your internet service provider, then you would be without internet and there's be nothing you could do about it. And if someone decided they were going to hack Comcast or Time Warner or something like that, they could bring down the entire eastern seaboard with the click of a mouse. And there's nothing being done to stop that. And if that happens, anything that's connected to the internet will malfunction. Hence your digital wallet.
Yep.
Because in order to access it, you got to access the internet. Before the internet was even made, we still did banking. We didn't need the internet to do banking because the banks were, linked in with each other. So what I'm trying to say is this push to put everything online is going to be a big disaster to happen. And that is going to be one of the unintended consequences of putting everything online. And that's what they are doing.
Yeah.
And that's my warning to everyone today. They are trying to push everything on the internet because they have realized they can control it. Yeah, they can't bring down the internet, but they can easily cut off access to the internet.
Right.
And that has happened on many a day.
Yeah, that's how they control the choke points.
Correct. Think about it.
And my thing
At
is
least
this.
with paper money, though,
Yeah.
I can still buy a sandwich. I can still pay my bills. Even if the internet was out for a week, I could still do that.
Right.
But if you're using something that's connected to, and they're trying, that's what that chip on the card is too, by the way. That chip on your credit cards and your bank cards and stuff, they're doing a lot with that technology so that goes online too and does things. And in the future, it's going to be doing a lot more than what people bargain for. And that's part of acclimating everyone to get used to everything being online and being connected online. For instance, and I'll end my point with this. It's almost impossible to get a job nowadays without you having to go online. The first thing you do when you walk into a place and say, I could apply for a job, they say, okay, let me go ahead and give you the website where you can go online. Back in the day, you just walk in somewhere and get an application, fill it out, and boom, bam. Or even if you had a buddy at some corporate office, he could hook you up with a job. You would go in, fill out the paperwork, and he expedites you in there. You got hooked up. But you can't even do that now because the first thing they're gonna say is you gotta go online. Everything is online. Even applying for jobs and filling out job applications is online. They're pushing more and more things to be dependent on going online. That is a bad, bad sign because we don't have anything to back that up. If you get a DNC server error message when you click on your mouse to activate your web browser. So I'm seeing these trends come up slowly, and it is very, 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 very scary. And I link that back to what's happening even in the stock market today. As we're talking, the Dow is now down over 250 points, right?
Yes.
So starting to frighten people a little bit. People are acting a little shook right now. They don't know what to do. Does this mean the bull ride is over? Not necessarily. The Dow could do this for the next 10 days straight, and we would still be in a bull market.
Yep.
But that would scare people to death to see the Dow fall 2,000 points. You know what I'm saying, in the span of 10 days or 2 weeks. So what I'm saying is we're getting closer and closer and closer to total computerized electronic takeover. And I don't think people are even noticing it because it's happening so slick in the backgrounds. What do you think this whole debate is with this whole medical insurance, this whole Obamacare thing? You know, one of the things that was in that bill was that all of a patient's records had to be electronic and no more paper stuff. But the problem with that is that, remember, if anything's electronic, that means you as an individual have lost control over it. And that means it's out there where people can hack, they can see it, they can do all these different things. And that's the danger of where we are right now. Once everything is put on the web per se, or put electronic, then we lose more control and more of our privacy. It's just there's no way to stop that. And so the only way to really combat it would be to maintain some type of anonymity where you don't have to go and be forced to become electronic, because that's what's happening. They're making an electronic you, a computerized you. Okay. And if you look at the speed at which information is transferred now and stuff, that's part of what the whole Senate hearings was about yesterday too. The hack. They said who released this information to the media about what's been going on, because that's a crime.
It is.
And if you listen and paid attention, they have not expressed any willingness to even investigate and go after the leak.
Right.
They leaked national security classified stuff. I thought that was a crime. Isn't that what they want the guy who did the WikiLeaks for?
Mm-hmm.
It's not the fact that he exposed misdeeds. It's the fact that he leaked classified stuff, which is a crime. But here we have classified stuff being
They're
leaked
not going to go after that
to
and
hurt the president.
At home.
You see what I'm saying? It's just crazy what's happening now, and that's why people are going to miss the boat. That's why gold and silver are, gold's up almost $12 right now as we speak, and silver is not far behind it because people's ignorance is starting to play out in the markets, not in the stock market, but in the currency markets. You're seeing the weak dollar. You're seeing the gold and silver rally, and the weak dollar is analogous to someone lowering the gate, lowering the drawbridge to allow a floodgate of something else to come in. Because when you lower that dollar, what you're doing is you are actually lowering the ability of us to maintain our sovereignty too.
Right.
Because that means that the euro is getting stronger. You can't have a weak dollar with the weak euro. A weak dollar means a strengthened euro. All this about Brexit and the euro hitting parity, The euro is almost at 109 right now today. All this is on the backdrop of what we've been talking about. Oh, and by the way, just in case people missed it, ticker symbol HACK has been rallying also, and has been getting stronger over the last couple of days, almost close to $30 a share, coming off of $26 a share.
Right.
So you don't want to see that, because now that's telling you that there's something nefarious in the cyber category that's on the way and has been happening, just like the thing with DC the other day with them hacking people's cell phones in the nation's capital.
Yes.
Again, what is that? Theft. Now you're taking people's personal information. Nothing is sacred. Nothing is in your control when it's digitized. So we're already in the brave new world. So all these things have been happening just since we last was on the air, only a week ago. In a week, all this stuff is happening. Even Deutsche Bank being in the news again, facing more fines for more criminality. Even Wells Fargo in the news again, more criminality. You know what I'm saying? And with all this being said, we don't realize how much control we're losing and how much the bank controls your data.
Yep.
The central banks of the world, the Federal Reserve included, control our personal data. Did you know that Goldman Sachs owns the credit bureaus?
Oh, really? No, I did not know that.
Most people don't. That's their clearinghouse. Your Equifax, TransUnion, Experian, all that, that's all controlled and operated by Goldman Sachs, who is a proxy for the central banks and the Federal Reserve.
That's good to know.
And their stock has been on fire.
Yeah.
The more of our personal liberties and freedoms they take away, the higher the Goldman Sachs stock price goes.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? Everywhere. Oh, thank you. DNS error. That's what I meant. I said DNC, didn't I? Thank you for that correction. I know what I meant to say, but hey, I'm human. See, that's proof I'm not an algorithm, contrary to popular opinion. So my whole point is, you know, when they finally get everything else digitized, then they will have even more control over all of us, and all of our freedoms will have been lost, and we won't be able to get it back. Because even if they wanted to give it to us, everything's locked in the digital cyberspace algorithms, and it's locked up.
Right.
And unfortunately, data can be deleted, data can be transferred, data can be lost. So this is not going to be the utopia that everyone thinks is going to be. Oh, and by the way, just in case people missed it, Goldman Sachs is now officially in the president's cabinet.
Yeah, it has been. It's called Mnuchin. Mnuchin's been there for a while now.
There you go. The same Goldman Sachs that was with Bush and Obama. It's the same Goldman Sachs.
Yeah, Steve Mnuchin.
So have we really seen change? No.
No, hold on. I mean, Mnuchin's the guy who was head of computer rigging and computer trading. He's the guy who helped develop Goldman's black box.
That's even worse.
Oh, there's a reason for that. There's a reason for it, you know.
So
but,
again, see,
go ahead, man.
You just confirmed what I just said, man. There's some scary stuff. I can't believe that nobody else is talking about this. You and I are the only ones talking about dealing with this today.
Oh yeah, absolutely, bro. I mean, there's a lot of issues going on, brother, man. But dude, give your plug, because we're about to get to the top of the hour. Give your plug for your site, the Trading Academy, and how people can follow you on your social media, bro.
Thank you. Yes, you can follow me at the website, which is pulsewavetrading.com. That's pulsewavetrading.com. And you can also follow me on Twitter, The Vulcan, at The Vulcan Report on Twitter. And in addition to that, we do have the Learning Academy that is going strong. There's a lot of teaching and classes that you can take there, webinars where you can learn all about the markets, take your finances into your own hands. Remember, your paycheck does not determine your income. All right. So even if you're stuck in a dead end job, You can do this. You can learn about the markets. You can learn how you can add to your income and your family's financial well-being by taking advantage of the your gold and silver and learn how to turn central banks on their heads.
Absolutely. And with that being said, folks, I am V. You can follow me on roguemoney.net. You can also follow me on Twitter at the Rogue Money, and check out our team over at Facebook at the Rogue Money over there. With that being said, we are over and out, and CJ is just listening in on the other end. Later, everyone.
Peace.